Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Smartest Dumb People. My name is Anthony That Dude Johnson. I'm the host. My co-host, Leland Vaughn TV. We about to go in. So, topic today is the Breonna Taylor's case. All right. So, basically, everybody has their own opinion about the Breonna Taylor situation. I really don't know too much about it, but my co-hosts, they've been doing their research and they know a little bit more about it. So we're going to start it off with Leland. What do you think about the Breonna Taylor case and how you feel about it, how everybody's mad about these police officers not being charged? What's your opinion? I know you did your research. I know you did your homework. What's your opinion on the situation with Breonna Taylor?
Well, my opinion is that I can understand why everybody upset. I can also understand the angle where someone says, well, this guy fired a shot, which then set off a series of events that got the young lady murdered, which then will leave responsibility leaning towards the man, Kenneth Walker, then towards the police. But then you also got, but my thing is that they got all type of videos, all type of evidence that where they got one point where the dude who said that he heard the police say police stated that they didn't say the police.
Was the dude, you talking about the dude that was in the house?
No,
a random stranger.
No, a dude that was picking up one of his kids
A bystander.
at 3 a.m, right. Someone
Was he black or white?
I believe he was Hispanic.
Okay.
And he told, when he was interviewed, that he didn't hear the police say, it's the police. And then recanted that when they spoke with him 2 weeks later. And then you have the case, and then you have other things in there, like the officers being allowed to move out the scene. They can't even prove that the bullet that shot one of the officers came from Kenneth Walker. They couldn't, the ballistics...
Wasn't an officer killed?
No, the officer was shot in the leg.
Okay.
And so they did a ballistic test, and they came, and it was inclusive.
So it could have been from a police officer.
Exactly. Yeah, but they were saying that it couldn't be from a police officer because all the police officers were carrying 40 cals, and that none of them never had any 9mm weaponry. But then, now this is all.
They don't carry none.
You know what I'm saying? And so then it was allegedly that one of the officers was known for carrying a 9mm. And these officers was picking up shells on the scene.
Shit they wasn't supposed to do.
Yeah,
right?
these is my shells. No, that's theirs. What's going on? Cops come like, hey, y'all got to get out of here. You know what I'm saying? This is on video.
No shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so I understand both angles, but my main thought is that they do this at such a high clip that it's starting to become unacceptable. Accidents do happen. Mishaps, mistakes do happen, but does it have to happen to us on a consistent basis at such a high clip?
Okay.
To where we have to say, well come on now. Can somebody save some EOE? Everybody else like to get shot too. We ain't the only one. You know what I'm saying? There's other people that might like to get shot. Let's save some of them bullets for them.
Right.
But go ahead.
Timmy, what you think?
Just responding to that, what he just said at last, like I had seen a clip not too long ago of all the people that had got shot by the police in the last year or two. And just to be truthful, there's a lot of white folks on there. But they do not, the mainstream media don't touch it. They will not touch it. They won't touch these police getting shot. by people in California right now. Like, they are trying to push this race war in a certain direction. So it's like certain stories they pick up. And my point, my thing with this, what just went on with the Breonna Taylor thing, is there's a lot of details that the mainstream media left out, and they knew these details. They knew a lot of these details. So I'm gonna go into number one was, according to the transcript, it wasn't the wrong address. So the mainstream media is putting it was the address next door, it was the wrong address that they went to, but no, it was actually the right address. Even Janice,
You just started.
shout out to Kanata, shout out to Andre, shout out to Sis, Janice, shout out to Lonnie Williams. Janice said right here, all the witnesses except one said the police announced themselves. 12 others said they didn't. Now, I don't know what to think about that. Either they announced themselves or they didn't.
Yeah,
but
ain't
the
no in
mainstream,
between.
yeah, but ain't no in between. So the mainstream media is saying that they didn't. From certain transcripts, it's saying that the neighbors next door heard them announce themselves, and they knocked, and they didn't answer. So if you have a warrant, you knock on the door, they don't answer, they coming in.
So what you think mainstream media? What's the envelope they pushing here?
They're pushing the same scenario that we've been going through to keep this whole
Race
Black
war.
Lives Matter thing going, which is police just running around killing people. But
It's not true.
and then I mean, it's just like this right here, man. Look, I got an associate's degree in criminology. If they come through the door and you get one off, and you shoot the police in the leg, we don't even have to guess what's about to happen
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah.
Right.
They're going to return fire.
Okay.
They're going to return fire.
They fire without being fired at. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't
I
get
mean,
me wrong, we have
well,
situations, but we talk about this specific situation
Yeah.
that they threw right in the bag with everything else. But the truth is they didn't fire first. That man shot one time, shot the officer in the leg.
But now that's inconclusive, and so that was just on Yahoo. I read where they couldn't tie the shell casings that they said was Kenny Walker's to the cop getting shot in the leg. And when they start doing weird stuff, it just doesn't make sense. Like, if I fire on the police, I'm going to jail. If we sitting here
Right.
and we holding this podcast,
Right.
if somebody, boom, hey,
I agree.
and I turn around, boom, shoot the police, they fire return, I'm going to jail.
Right.
So, how come the man who they say set off the domino effect for the events isn't held
I
responsible?
can tell you why that. I want
And you
to
talking
chime
about,
in.
and you okay, go ahead.
I want
Kenny
to chime
Walker.
in. All right, so Kenny Walker,
Yeah.
he has the right to defend his home.
Exactly.
His
Exactly.
firearm was legally owned.
Okay.
And you're not a man if you're not protecting your home. If
Okay.
a motherfucker kicks in your door. Now, the real conversation is, did the police knock and say, police? That's the real conversation.
Right.
That has to be had first.
Right.
But as far as in what that man did, I understand what you're saying, the domino effect. But the domino effect is I'm protecting my home. And I don't think either one of us as men is going to allow somebody to kick in my door with a legal firearm in my hand. If I didn't hear it, or regardless of, in my opinion, I don't think he heard.
So if the
I don't think he
police-
heard the police. I believe somebody banged on his door, and this is just my opinion. I believe somebody banged on the door, and he opened fire when they kicked the door in. But he also, and we haven't touched on this yet, but they're saying that he was involved in criminal activity as well. So by that,
They say all black people is involved in criminal activity from
Okay.
birth.
okay.
But go ahead.
But what is your opinion?
We still
What-
in birthright.
So-
We still in Social Security numbers coming out of the womb. This is their perception of us.
yeah.
And so, if we sitting here as men, police knock on that door, boom, boom, the police, they run in, if any one of us open fire,
Lamizi said Jackers holler police. You're right, Lamizi.
we going to jail. They're not gonna understand that. Well, we thought that I thought that you was my old lady, my ex-old lady coming in, and she known for treachery. They're not gonna understand that, especially when the neighbor across the hall say, "Well, I heard them announce themselves as the police." We ain't gonna be able to beat that.
I'm just.
But, all right, so-
Lime Easy just said, hold on, real quick. Let me shout out Lime Easy, Brandon Browder,
Brandy.
Lime Easy. Oh, Brandy. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Brandy. Lime Easy said Jackers holler police.
And he said, I'm
all
shooting.
the time.
Yeah, but yeah, they do.
All right,
but
so-
then the person gets arrested, and so if the pusher who is scared of his home getting raided,
He shouldn't be arrested though. That's my point. He should not be arrested. He did what he was supposed to do. You buy a
fire
firearm,
on the
No,
police.
but he was arrested. I mean, you should arrest because you have to figure it
but
out.
they had to drop the charge.
But they
You got to open fire on
pretty
the police.
much, pretty much,
Open
No,
fire.
he didn't.
pretty much right away, right?
His yes,
Right
his
away.
angle is, I didn't know it was the police, and you're a fool as a man to not understand when somebody kicking your door and you have a weapon. I'll shoot first, ask questions
questions
later.
But that doesn't make it. That don't make it legal. Do you know how many drug dealers' houses get kicked in and they open fire?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
You know what I'm saying? That to the point to where that's why the aggression is there, and so they're not beating them charges. If they kick in El Chapo door, boom, and El Chapo open up, he ain't beating no police. He ain't beating no charge of shooting a police.
So
But they ran up into his dope house.
So why did he beat the charge there right away?
Because the police know that the whole mission was botched, wasn't properly operated, and they caused the death because of their neglect, because of their inability
And-
to do a proper investigation to make sure that and they knew that the boyfriend wasn't there. They knew the boyfriend was in jail, and so that angle gone.
I need Tory's.
It's-
I need Tory's real, because you and Tory disagree in some way. I need your real opinion, Tory, how you was breaking it down, because I felt like what you were saying made 100% sense. She was not sleeping.
Because you gotta think about it like this. Her old boyfriend, LaMarcus Glover,
Shit, I just wanted to.
known, yeah, we know that. Known drug dealer, and I'm talking about in the big circle that they're trying to take down. They have him in jail. So we know that when you have this type of situation going on, they're going to go to every spot that they think that you might have anything going on
Period.
and check them out.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm thinking he got the benefit of the doubt because LaMarcus Glover actually didn't live there anymore. So if he got drugs being sent in the mail to 5 or 6 spots, you know what I'm saying? They going in these spots. Of course, if I'm Kenneth, what is his name again?
Kenneth Walker.
I keep getting them mixed up.
Yeah,
Kenneth
yeah,
Walker,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
They have to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's in his house. He hasn't been there that long. He might not know the history going on with this house.
Yeah.
And when they come in, he's shooting. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
trying to protect where he lives at the time. Man,
The
my
only
sister's all
suspicious, the only shit that's suspicious to me is she jumped from one boyfriend. 2 months later, she got a dude living with her.
Right.
That's a little weird to
Right.
me. Like, damn, you moving awfully fast.
Yes.
For
I agree.
no, but I'm just saying that matters though.
Well,
I
it's lucky
agree.
that she even waited 60 days. You know what I'm saying? You got some women
Here we
that
go.
break up with a man and got another man in the house that night. You know what I'm saying? They got their special drawers set aside, their special dress, what they gonna wear, their friends that they gonna call as soon as this end. You know what I'm saying? And so that's not suspicious at all. What's suspicious is when you can't prove that Kenneth Walker shot one of the police.
Man, my video keep going down.
You can't What's suspicious is when the police can't have body cam on.
Yeah. Where's the body cam?
That body cam, soon as they left the truck, should have been
Where's the
activated.
body cam?
Read Lamamezy. Yeah, where are the body cams?
My house got raided because somebody used to use my address. I ain't talked in 2 years.
Talked to in 2 years.
Yeah. So basically, he's saying in the police ran up in his house.
Right.
It's possible, and there. I want to say, like, I know ex-drug dealers. Let's say ex-drug dealers that would get packages delivered to people's house that didn't even know that they would just make sure that they was there to grab the package right away.
What up, Jody?
Now, if you know that,
that's
the
the scheme.
police knows this also.
That's the scam, though. The scam
You
is
understand? The police knows this. This is this ain't unbeknownst to everybody.
Right.
You got motherfuckers that drive around and look for abandoned houses to do cyber theft. That's everybody knows that. The police know that. But
You're right about that.
when the police gets out their car, going to do a raid, the camera should have been on.
But where is the body cams, though?
They don't have it. And the only thing they got is the aftermath of them talking about, oh, we were shot at.
Can you believe this?
Yeah. They ain't got them on camera. For some odd reason, they ain't got them on camera kicking in doors.
So the video,
they ain't got them on camera going into someone's
so the
home.
video we watched, and I feel like what you said is pushing the envelope with the Black Lives Matter movement. So the video we watched, this gonna make a couple people in here feel uncomfortable. We're gonna say it. The video I watched is saying that Breonna Taylor was wide awoke in the hallway. She was not murdered in her bed.
Right.
She was wide awoke in the hallway when the shots went off. What they're trying to do, this is what, quote unquote, it becomes a conspiracy. What they're trying to do is push the envelope for Black Lives Matter, and that's why the police officers are not being charged, which I kind of believe. It's making sense, because if it was really a woman laying in her bed and she was murdered in her bed and her boyfriend was completely legitimately legal and he had a legal firearm, how the hell did we get here? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so I think again, you make a lot of sense with the Black Lives Matter push, which it's you're trying to get me. It's starting to make sense. And if anybody don't do their research and they don't question anything that mainstream media posts, you're not doing your due diligence as a human being with rights.
Well,
you have the right to. You have the right to do your own research.
So let's unpack that. So that's the
Let's
same
unpack
way.
it.
The video that you sent me of the lawyer who was in, these two lawyers
Going back and forth.
The one lawyer telling the other lawyer, "You sold out. You a sellout. We had the information. We could have had everybody out there booked on murder charges. Why did you sell out?" The lawyer sitting there talking about, "I gave them the information. If I gave them all the information, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't been able to do this." This is the lawyer who presented the information to the Attorney General. And they're going back and forth. They having a disagreement. And he's telling them, "Dog, why did you do that?" He's like, "You sold out for corruption. You sold out for the money." He was like, "I couldn't tell the truth." They having a recorded conversation. And so,
that conversation.
and we go.
We do have.
Let's play a snippet. We should be able to play a snippet.
Because we gotta worry about that infringement thing.
Well, you can play a minute or 120 seconds.
We do have the video. We sent it to TV2 and the crew chat.
But they got to hear it. You have two people that's arguing about what the subject is going on now. We can't do it after the show.
If they're going in there to murder, if they're going in there to murder,
we're giving them information. You posted it. I posted it. We're giving them information. We are not here to give them information and hand it to them. Go look it up. There's lawyer evidence of the lawyers going back and forth. If you don't know about it, message one of the smartest dumb people. We'll shoot you that kite. But I want you to continue.
My thing is this here.
I'm gonna post it to the
website.
website.
If they're going in there straight on some murder game, why ain't both of them dead?
Yeah, why is the shooter still alive?
Why is the shooter still alive?
Because
that doesn't.
he
doesn't.
He ducked up out of there.
He ducked up out of there.
But he shot him.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
they give him the right to come
So
in there.
what, did they handcuff him? Did they handcuff him in that home?
No, they tell him to come out, talking about sitting the dog on him, all of this stuff. That's the same way, dog. They have never been straight up and went by no type of constitution, none of that shit. They violate rules and violate us on a daily basis. And so some cops go up in somewhere, no camera on. The first thing, if they was coming on some legit shit, they'd have had their camera on. We want to make sure
that's true.
We want to make sure that this is recorded.
Yeah,
that
that's
this
true.
is properly recorded. That
Right.
we can't get accused of anything.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm gonna have my camera on.
They all need to
Right.
be charged for that alone if they have body cams.
Yeah.
But then,
They need
but
to
then
start
the
doing
cop,
it, right.
but
That's a
then
felony.
the
For
cop.
real. Seriously, you should be able to lose your job, especially when a murder's involved. You know what I mean?
Brandy Browder said, "Go watch the killing of Breonna Taylor on Hulu." Got you. I'm gonna go do that. I promise. I haven't actually looked at it. I'm just listening to the transcript. But it was just funny to me how the mainstream media put this twist on it, like it wasn't this whole drug operation going on. That
We will
they
do.
actually went to the wrong address. That she wasn't involved somehow because it's coming out that she had been fired as an EMT.
She
That
wasn't
she's
an
not
EMT.
anymore.
Yeah, she wasn't when she got
And
murdered.
that she has been involved in drugs, and even the new dude, Kenneth Walker.
Well,
Me, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this real quick.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna let you unpack that. But me as an ex-drug dealer, when I statute of limitation. But when I used to hustle and my woman lived in the same home, they would be considered. She would be considered involved in drug activity.
Yes.
And let me tell you something.
Right.
My woman wouldn't touch. My
No,
woman wouldn't
right.
touch a scale, a zip. She wouldn't. She
Right.
wouldn't even give her mama a
Right.
bag if I was saying, "Go get this to your
Right.
mama," because she wanted nothing to do with drugs. So,
But they're still going to think that
they
she
still-
has knowledge
period.
of what's going
Period.
on, and
Now-
allowing it to go on in her
Now,
home.
Go ahead and
when
unpack
weird
it.
stuff go on,
They
then you
actually
have
got
to
that
question.
same type of story going on Power right now as we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
They're trying
And
to make
so,
Tasha look like the
why-
and she was just
Yeah.
So
holding her husband down.
Right.
why would they offer a plea deal to the ex-boyfriend to say
My sister just
that
said that.
Brianna was involved in the
And he-
drug activity, and he told the police she wasn't and didn't take the plea deal. They offered the man 8 years. And so why?
I mean, he ain't snitching. That's
Why?
all that
But
is.
why?
Yeah.
But why offer a plea deal to
A person that was involved.
a dead person?
You basically
Hold on,
why
time
not
out.
snitch?
Hold on, time
Oh,
out.
you're right.
Hold on, time out.
You're right.
A person that's dead,
You're right,
that
you're
can't
right.
be prosecuted,
You're right.
that can't be brought up on charges, that can't nothing else be done
You're
to
right.
it. Why would they offer a plea deal for someone to say that a dead person was involved in this criminal activity?
Well, that would have incriminated him too, though.
No,
That would have
hold
incriminated
up,
him
hold up,
too.
Hold up, now let's be real.
Okay.
Before they even got the warrant, they probably already offered him that plea deal.
No, no. This was just
That's
recent.
usually how it goes.
But if he would have knew they was
Recently.
coming, if that was the case, TV,
Who?
he would have knew they was coming if they offered him a plea deal in advance.
No, they just
I'm
offered
saying-
this. They just offered this
When he got
a month ago. I'm gonna pull up the YouTube.
Now,
I'm gonna
I'm
pull
just
up the
saying, how
Yahoo.
you know that they actually offered it at that time? How you
Because
know
they
it just
gave
wasn't
you the
released
date.
at that time?
They give you the date when the
That
police
might have been
offered
it.
him.
narrative is more important.
Huh?
That's what Andre said. He said narrative is
Yeah,
more important.
right.
Of course.
But who's writing the narrative?
Is
Because the
it-
No, I
one
didn't say
person.
that nothing. Your sister said her no longer being an EMT has nothing to do with her being killed. No, I'm just saying the mainstream
They're
media
trying to
is
make it
still
sound-
pushing it like she's
She's an
still
EM.
a current EMT.
That-
They had the wrong address. Police went in there pretty much shooting first. It was a no knock. Nobody heard him say anything. I'm saying from that evidence right there, it seems like the mainstream media has an agenda to where they're pushing people. And with that, what they released caused all these riots. Nobody really checked into the transcript before they went out here tearing up shit.
Well, I can understand that, but everybody knows who.
What's your opinion on it? Because
Everybody knows.
we
Everybody knows who behind the riots. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows that white people is the one pushing this
Yeah.
agenda
The Antifa,
of
right.
the Antifa, Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Ain't nobody black behind any of that madness. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't care. You know what I'm saying? There's no code. We don't have, and so you'll have black people telling these white people, hey, why are y'all here? You know what I'm saying? When George Floyd got killed, they had the white dude busting the windows at the AutoZone.
Yeah, with
With the pink mask on, with the flood thing on, and come to find out, he's a supremacist. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, that sounds like some KKK shit to me. Not necessarily the agenda for Black Lives Matter.
No, it's all tied together.
It's all tied
Because these
together.
white people really don't give a damn about no
Fascists,
black
right.
life. Because
Right.
if they did, the last thing they would be out here doing is causing chaos to where
Right.
black people are the only ones catching the response. And so when you get out here and you start promoting this violence, and one of your own, not saying that only white people's the police, but like the black police said, he'd be sitting there, he's a police, he's a black life, and he'd be attacked by white people telling him, don't talk, telling black people, telling
Good segue.
them, don't talk to this black cop.
Good segue. Now it's time to jump topics. Good topic with the Breonna topic.
Right.
But now we go to the black police officer that was doing his job. And let me tell you something. I watched it. That man practiced patience with this woman. This woman was being irate. And this is what kills me. I'm going to say it. I normally don't ever say shit like this, but I'm going to say it about what I feel about my...
Now, where would this happen at?
This happened at a football game.
Where at, though?
I don't know what city.
I believe Wisconsin. Let me see.
It might have been Connecticut, I thought.
Go ahead.
But anyway, I'm gonna say this about Caucasians. They have a tendency of getting in business they don't belong in. Let me explain something about black people. If a man across from me is being harassed by a police officer, well, now due to the movements and all that shit, we might get involved. But if we go back to 2001, if a man is in an argument with the police officer and I'm watching the game and the police officer decides to tackle this man over here, as a black person, I mind my fucking business. I stay in my lane. It's not my business to interject with somebody. With this girl, all you hear is Caucasians in the background. Don't do her like that. What are you doing? Record this. He pushed me. I don't understand
What's a
the logic.
Caucasian?
I don't understand the logic. I don't understand the logic and pushing the envelope that you stick together to the point where you know this man wasn't in the wrong. Okay, he's doing his job. And all you can hear in the background is people screaming, "Let her go! Don't touch her like that! He tased her!" And all I'm thinking the whole time is like, it's only happening because this is a black officer. That's the argument. So then, after this black officer tased her, because she was being very disorderly, very, very disorderly. After he tased her, he's been getting death threats and some other shit. And people posting how horrible of a person he is.
Right.
What happened to Blue Lives Matter?
Right.
Well, the blue life matters only applies to the white
To
life.
the white officers.
Yeah.
they
They
didn't
don't
say
apply.
nothing about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
They didn't say nothing about that with the black
They
guy.
were like,
They're like, we ain't got nothing to do with that shit. Y'all stay over there.
Yeah,
That's dirty.
that blue uniform doesn't not make you
Black.
a nigga.
Andre said hopscotch. You right. They hop right over that shit.
You know what
didn't
I'm
they?
saying? It doesn't make you a nigga. You just become a nigga in a uniform that is, well, he may be on our side. You have other cops that have shot other cops. You know what I'm saying? White officers have shot black officers because the mindset of the criminalization of black people doesn't switch when
He puts his
uniform on. And so now he's becoming some man that's sitting up manhandling
young
King
teen.
Kong.
Yeah.
King Kong. He become King Kong. And this delicate, beautiful white woman becomes Jane. And here
It's
you have,
so
and
dope.
here you have King Kong.
We have to use this narrative. It's so dope. We have to use this narrative to see how bad racism really is. Like this narrative, I'm serious, bro. This narrative, it shows how bad racism really is. This cop didn't shoot her. She was being disorderly. This cop didn't shoot her. This cop didn't disrespect her. This cop didn't say, get on the fucking ground. This cop didn't talk to her no aggressive way. He said, ma'am, put your mask on and you must leave. I seen the video. Mm-hmm. And he was being polite as long as he can. But as an officer, if you're not listening, that's where the aggression comes from. So he tried to handcuff her. She didn't want, no, he tried to grab her by her arm to escort her out of there. Then she, get off me, I'm not leaving. I'm not putting on the mask. What I think is dope for this narrative is for if anybody black or anybody white don't watch this video of this police officer just trying to do his job. And I mean, she was very disorderly. She was kicking him and cussing at him and some other shit. And all he did was taser, hit him with a little taser. She gets to go home after she gets that little $25 ticket for not wearing a mask. These black men are being murdered, running away from police officers, not try. You can say running away is disorderly, but it's also avoiding confrontation. A lot of these black men are scared for their lives.
You can raise your voice and get charged with disorderly conduct.
Yeah, and she's probably gonna hit with the minimum. I guarantee you, the charge is probably gonna be dropped anyway from her. But I'm saying this narrative is perfect for black people, white people to come together. This is perfect narrative for all people, all races, to realize once you put that blue uniform on, it ain't Blue Lives Matter. It depends on who's wearing that blue uniform, and that creates a stigma. The stigma of Blue Lives Matters got shut the fuck down when a black man was doing his job and tased somebody that was being disorderly. But a white man can kill a black man, and we get mad about it, and all of a sudden Blue Lives Matter too.
Women. We just
men, women, whatever.
We're women. Men worried about a woman.
I don't think it had nothing to do with the woman. If that was a white man, we would be still having the same conversation.
Well, if that was a white woman, we would be having. If Brianna was a white woman,
yeah.
Would this?
No, they would be in jail.
Would we still be having the same conversation? That's just like when the Somalian cop shot the woman in Minnesota. He got 13 years.
Yeah, that's what I think she was talking about on here.
You know what I'm saying? He got 12 and a half to 13 years when the Somalian cop shot the delegate. Beautiful white woman. How can you dare? How can you dare do anything like that? But he went to jail. They're not going to jail for shooting our women.
Right.
Our kids. Take the adults out of there. A cop pulled up on a 12-year-old playing with a cap gun.
Okay.
And 1 minute after pulling up, guns in down. No trouble, no jail time, no outrage besides from us.
And that's where the blue lines come in.
What up,
nothing.
PJ Mason?
And so
what about speaking on the kid that was being tased? So it's more relatable. So what about Elijah McClain? He was tased and he wound up dying in the hospital. Keep in mind, this kid did nothing wrong. He was walking home from the grocery store. Not to mention he was autistic, which I have a soft spot for autistic people that know me. He was autistic, and he was walking home, and he has OCD. Let me tell you something. You can tell right away this kid had OCD. People that have OCD, they just move a certain way. He has a certain routine. He don't want to be bothered. He has autism. He was in his own world. Mm-hmm. So when a police officer pulls on the side of you and say, I need to see your ID. He's like, I'm just going home. I just came from the store. I didn't do nothing wrong. And keep in mind, this is also in the time where we must wear masks. We must wear masks in this time. This boy had a mask on, not really a mask, I think it was a mouth cover, and they try to create the narrative that, listen to the call. A white man calls, I feel suspicious. I see somebody in the neighborhood walking around with a mask. The police come there and basically tase this boy and murder him. Okay? Mm-hmm. And now you have a black cop live. It was broad day. No mask, no nothing. Tase a woman, he's getting death threats. And we as black people, we got to sit and watch this I think it was like, he wasn't necessarily black, he was, what was his race?
Who the cop?
Elijah McClain.
McClain, I think. I
wanna say he was-
I don't know. He might have been one of them Somalians.
But they try to push a narrative that he black. Regardless of what his race is, regardless of what his race is, he was murdered and tased.
Okay.
And where are these police officers? Where's the justice for that?
On beat.
On beat.
On
Still
beat.
Just
Brandy
clocked
said-
in.
Brandy said they injected him with meds that led to his demise. The EMT should be charged too. He was anemic,
Injected
so that's
who
why
with
he
meds?
had that on.
Injected
He
him with
stayed
meds
cold.
or
I'm
meth?
thinking they talking about
No, Elijah
the
McClain.
EMTs.
Elijah McClain.
Then-
She's talking about. I know what she's talking about. They basically tried to. No, but he had a panic attack from being tased.
Right.
So they tried to calm him down with meds, and the meds killed him.
Right.
So she's saying that fuck the EMT. She's doing her job. The EMT is not. I don't agree with that B a little bit because the EMT is trying to save this man, not hurt him. So should she be charged? No. Let's worry about the people that harassed him, tackled him, tased him, held him down, and could have caused asphyxiation is what it's called, and they could have killed him that way. And then when the EMT got there, he was having a panic attack, and they tried to calm him down.
Right.
So I don't agree with the EMT being charged because her job is to make sure that this man makes it alive. But sometimes, I'm gonna agree with all people that's in the medical field. Sometimes you're put in the most vulnerable situations to save somebody's life or to give them a certain procedure, and it just doesn't work that way. So, and she didn't know he was allergic to the medicine she was giving him. She was just trying to do her job because he was having a panic attack. So they gave him a double dose. Okay, all right, we can complain about everything. We can complain about everything. But the problem is, but again, I'm gonna tell you why they're on my neck, because the problem we've been abused for so long, we don't give a fuck.
Right.
We want everybody prosecuted, charged, and I get their anger.
Right.
But as a human being, see, this is the gift I have. The gift that I have is I have compassion in the heart. And I understand this woman was just doing her job. Yes, I'm black. And yes, I'm tired. But I also have compassion, and I know I was always taught to be the reasonable person and think before I react. So I know how to think before I react. So I'm telling you, reaction-wise, fuck the EMT, charge her. From a compassion standpoint, she's also in a vulnerable situation because she has this patient in front of her. She don't know what he's on. He could be on drugs, is what the police said. And blah, blah, blah. At this point, she don't know what the fuck to do. So I'm not going to blame the EMT. I'm blaming the police officers. But again, like I said, when we've been tortured and abused and murdered and raped and enslaved for so long, we have anger. And that's where that's coming from. We want the motherfucking doctors that was on the table charged, the police officer.
Like they always at a party before they said, whoever we see on the street, we killing them. So y'all can't get them.
Oh,
we
God.
gonna get them.
Well, hold on. Now let's unpack that a little bit.
Unpack it.
Because
What up, Jason?
if
Come on, she said fuck them all.
if
I hear you.
an individual prescribes, that's the same way. If I give you a aspirin
Okay.
and you are allergic to the aspirin, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna be like, well, it's your fault. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna say, well,
Can we get the police officers charged first before we're worried about a fucking EMT?
right.
Seriously, can we get? And this is just a kid walking home.
Because then what happens is that anytime somebody's suspected of doing drugs, you're opening up a door for somebody to come and shoot some adrenaline in them and double the dose and do whatever because they suspect for someone to be on drugs. That's negligent.
But the police officer said it. The police officer said it.
That's all they got to
Think
do
he's
is
on
say
drugs or
it.
something.
That's all they got to do is say it.
Yeah, that's his job. He's supposed to report to the EMT what he think is going on with the
Okay, but
patient.
the EMT is supposed to ensure, because if she introduced drugs in someone's system that could kill them under a false narrative.
She said if she would have did that, she would have been fired. Again, this, and I'm telling you, we so. I'm about to say this shit, and I don't mean this with no disrespect to nobody black. We so mentally sick. She said, because for a person to think that way is sad. To say if it was me, I would have been fired. You're right. I agree. Because in my head, that's what I'm going through mentally. If that was me, I would have been fired. But the problem with us is, in order to heal, we have to do better.
That is us.
But-
There is us is that they're not held to the same standards of responsibility.
That's what makes
that
us.
we're being
Yeah.
held to.
So I'm saying that's what makes us mentally sick.
It makes, well, some people.
PTSD.
Some
PTSD.
people- but to me, it makes me shine the light on them. And the most that I can shine it, I'ma shine it. I'ma let them know, dog, you fucked up. I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you been fucked up since you got over here. You know what I'm saying? You can't. I'm not letting you off the hook. You know what I'm saying? And so, I see you. We see you. We seen you give us syphilis.
She said it's our reality. I
And
agree.
then
I
a
agree.
motherfucker would think that you crazy if you said, man, I went to the doctors and man, they gave me something. Ever since I've been there, I ain't been right. And people would say, that's just slavery. That's just thinking that everybody's always up to something. That's just a
It's always
mental
an
mind
agenda.
frame.
I like what Dre said. It's always an agenda
Yeah,
or a
always.
narrative.
Always.
Always.
Yes. And so
That's why I didn't go
we
get the
have
COVID
to
test.
call it out.
They'll never know if I had that shit. I could have had that shit 15 times by now. Y'all ain't tested me.
No,
Y'all
ain't
not
nobody
testing me.
doing nothing.
Nah.
But TV,
Yeah.
go ahead. Go if you touch on it.
I don't really. I mean, y'all just said it. I mean,
What do you think about
we're
the black cop?
tired. Yes, we are sick. You said what?
What do you think about the black cop? Him, because I know you don't know much about it, but it's simple. It's cut and dry.
It's just cut and dry what it is, man. Don't get me wrong.
Don't y'all touch the beautiful white women, them delicate flowers.
It just is what it is, man. It just is what it is, man.
And you know, and my
It's-
God, I
it's
just
a
heard
sick
my God
situation.
brew venom.
Everybody ain't racist, but when situations like this happen, the racists tend to come out and take the show. And that's what I believe about this whole situation. I don't think that everybody is racist. I don't think that every cop is bad. But when these type of situations happen, best believe the people that are racist and that think that every cop is bad is going to come to the front of the room and show their ass. And this going to be the topic of the whole thing. So I believe that the dude, from what y'all told me, he did his job. I believe again that the racists came to the forefront of this thing
And you know what?
and tried to expose it for something else. And with the Breonna Taylor, I'm not sure. I still got to check the transcripts out. The verdict is still out on that, and I'm not about to just make no decision. I just heard a lot more new evidence today. I'm not about to sit here and say it should have went that way or this way. I know if I'm a police officer and I come through the door on a warrant that got the right address on it and I get shot, I'm returning fire. And I expect my fellow officers to return fire too.
So why did they
that's-
get charged?
So
I don't know why people didn't get charged
I
or
wonder-
didn't get charged. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm trying to tell you.
So
I
The
wonder-
transcript is
missed.
still out.
The
I don't know
bullets
about
that
them
missed.
picking up. You didn't
The
came in
bullets-
talking about them picking up.
Yeah.
You came in
I
there talking
like
about
to
them
tell you,
picking up
yeah.
bullets. The lawyers arguing back and
Yeah.
forth. Now this is what I'm trying to say. I ain't never ever. And I done been, man, look,
Through some
I hate
shit.
to say it, I done been through some shit
Shit.
with the goddamn court system.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't never heard of them. That's in your word. I ain't never heard of them catching
Never.
two lawyers discussing a case on tape. So that right there, it just sounds really suspect. That
Right.
when you say,
I feel like
for
this,
him to be like, hold on, you were supposed to release this information and he to come back
I feel like
on video and say, if I release the information,
we gotta
then
let you
it-
listen to it.
Yeah,
It's gonna be good.
yeah,
I wanted
that's
to
weird.
I wanted to actually speak on something, Leland, that you brought to my attention. So as we was talking about the difference between white and black and racism, like you was saying that like us being tired, us being fed up, us living by a certain code is also racism.
Yeah.
It's like reverse racism, but racism from hurt and PTSD, right?
Well, to me, it's racism from wanting to attain knowledge of self and of your people. And so that's just like, I don't want to attain no knowledge regarding any white people at all, or
So
any
does-
Hispanic people, or any of these other nations of people at all. It doesn't interest me. You'll have different things as far as they teach in school, as far as slavery, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, basic white history. And those people that went through high school, they will attain the basic white history and they will stop there. They won't be concerned about nobody else's history or what happened on these shores of that
The other
on
side.
these shores that they call America, because they're not interested.
Right.
It has nothing to do with them.
Right.
They are solely and strictly concerned with them and their people.
Right.
And so, to me, you got two kind of decoders, which is what I call the beautiful and the lovely white men and white women of America. They come in and you have one that will be you have one that will be open about their observation and their thinking on black culture and how they're in it and how they raised in it, and I was down north and this and that. And then you have the covert decoder that will act like they don't know what's going on. That will act like they never heard of these things before. They never heard of these atrocities. What are you talking about? What do you mean a 14-year-old boy got tied to an engine, shot in the face 7 times with a shotgun, genitals cut off and stuffed in his mouth? What are y'all? They do things like that?
Does that make all right? But
That makes them covert, because I'm quite sure that they heard of these things. And
I don't know nothing about Indian culture, and
Indian.
You don't even go there.
I'm not. But I don't know nothing about, and I'm trying to keep it on the surface. I don't know nothing about Indian culture. I've never took it upon myself to learn about Indian culture. I've never took it upon myself to learn anything about Mexican culture besides tacos.
Because
Shout out to the carne asadas.
You're concerned with your own race. And so if you begin...
So why can't white people?
They
Why
can
white
be.
people?
I'm just saying,
They're the same
you'll
thing.
have black people that will want to decode our culture. They don't decode theirs.
Right.
You know what the thing,
Right.
you get to ask
I
me
can ask
questions.
a Mexican person right now how to make a carne asada. That's decoding, right?
No.
It is, my nigga.
No,
It is.
because what's decoding?
Leland.
Hold on, time out. What's
What's
decoding
decoding?
is when you start talking about.
You can speak about me though. Speak about me because
Hold on.
I decode all the time.
What's decoding is when you get to talking about this is how we do it in our culture. This is how we normally move.
Yeah, yeah.
This is what we normally do. We don't move.
So if
we don't move like
if
that.
you're dating a
We
Mexican
don't talk
woman,
like that.
if you're dating a Mexican woman and she's teaching you how to make carne asadas, that's decoding, is what you're saying.
Fuck a carne asada. She ain't gonna talk about that how the fuck that she got here. That most of them is white.
I don't
and
know.
That's why they have a hatred for us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That most of them came from
I don't
offspring
know.
of conquistadors, which is why a lot of Hispanics will put on the census that they're white. Won't even mark that they're Hispanic.
Well, Africans do too.
Yeah, well, but
They can put,
Kenya,
they
Nigeria.
can put white.
Yeah, they don't put
yeah,
black.
I mean the
Because
white
those
tooth
are statuses. Again,
Yeah,
we go with those are statuses. That's why I didn't want to get into that.
Well, no, I was
The
just saying.
white tooth
I was just trying to
Yeah.
because I'm trying to explain to Leland.
Once he dig into his culture and history, he will learn that we was the indigenous people that was already here, and that a Native American isn't the indigenous people.
Right.
That they may have been here with us, but when you look into it, you begin to learn these things. Once you begin to learn these things, then you begin to check people, and then you'll begin to say, well, don't call me that. Or or I may say black or African American because in 1986, some white people and one black man entered into a room and came out and said, "Now this is what we're going to be called," and we believe, and that was it. That's all they had to do.
Yeah, for sure.
They went into a room in 1986 and said, "We got to call y'all something. We can't keep calling y'all."
And they only gonna listen to it if we put it on one of theirs to go out there and tell them that, which was Jesse Jackson.
Jesse Jackson went into a room in 1986 and came up with the
But
term.
he's like the police or some shit.
No, that was
Jackson
Al
was-
Sharpton.
oh,
That
okay.
was Al
No,
Sharpton.
but he is Black Boule though.
Oh, he a bootlicker.
Black Boule is the fraternities that they set up in these colleges to groom our people to push their agenda
Move a certain way?
to protect the 13 families that own all the money in the world. And there's many different
So do we got money
fraternities.
because of
There's
that?
like Sigma Phi, what's that, Sigma Pi Psi? Sigma Pi Psi or whatever that is. Yeah, he made a lot of money. Martin Luther King was making money. Right?
I watched Dr.
Making big
Umar,
money.
and not Dr. Umar. I can't think of the dude name. He's a psychologist, a doctor, and he also not a doctor but a psychiatrist.
Dr.
And
Umar Johnson?
no, the other dude.
Anderson?
No, he's. I can't think. I'm a little tipsy, and we getting ready to close out the show. But I want to speak on this. He was saying that Martin Luther King made $200,000 a year and only kept $6,000. He was giving $200,000. I mean, he was basically giving $200,000 to the movement and like all of the events they was doing and all of the marching they was doing. He was funding that. What do you know about that?
I know.
I'll show you when the show is over.
Okay.
I can't think of
he
his
ain't
name.
had no job, and you ain't.
Yeah, but they say he was making money off of the.
Let me say, you're not living off $6,000 a year. I know that. That's $500 a month.
But you got to realize the time though too.
You still
To make
still wasn't
200,
enough.
like they were saying, to make $200,000 and goddamn what is it 60?
1963.
Yeah. To
Yeah.
make it, that's a lot of fucking money.
That was 20 years
$200,000.
before you was born.
No, but you said
Nigga, I wasn't born in 70.
You said
you born?
he was getting 200,000.
I don't wonder why
And
you
then you
asked
said
me
he
that
only
shit,
kept
man.
6,000. That means he giving 196,000 to the movement.
To the movement. That's,
That's
well, I'm just
kinda hard to
saying.
believe. That's some hard numbers.
Well,
You know, I'll tell you what. I'm going to say something before, because like I said, we got like 6 more minutes. But I watch these people, and I'm like, I wish the smartest dumb people could sit down with them. So after the show, I'm tagging these people until they answer our calls to have a conversation with them, because y'all logic in a lot of situations is completely different. And I would love to see you sit and talk to Dr. Umar Johnson, or sit and talk to fucking whoever.
Umar been going hard in the paint lately.
Man,
Umar
man,
been
he on
going
some
hard.
savage shit. He
He
been
been
on
going
some
hard.
savage shit.
Who you must be talking about?
He's light skinned. He did Jay-Z and Beyonce book.
Eric Dixon, Dr. Eric Dixon.
He did
the one who did
Uh,
the one who get to do that.
Is that Dyson?
He light skinned. He wears
Dyson.
glasses.
That's
and he
him.
get
Dyson. I
The
think it's
one
Eric Dyson.
And he started doing the like
Yeah.
hip hop. He added the hip hop.
And so the preparation.
Yes, he's dope as fuck.
Interpretation.
He's dope as fuck.
And then it opened up to an interpretation,
No, he's
the
dope.
decolonization, and the realization of that the black man is in discrimination.
He rhyming,
Yeah, that
preaching, that what
motherfucker,
he
boy,
be
that
doing.
motherfucker get to talking out his ass.
I like him.
You know what
I
I'm
like him a
saying?
lot.
Michael Eric Dyson. There it
Michael
is.
Eric
Thanks,
Dyson.
sis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That motherfucker get to, and the perpetuation of the determination and distinction of the black man.
That dude dope, man.
But
Probably about time to wrap.
all of these motherfuckers pray.
It's definitely Michael
Off
Eric.
us.
It's definitely Michael
yeah,
Eric Dyson.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I
They
got
pray off of us. They won't give us the information, but they'll sell us the information.
who?
Yeah.
All
Most definitely.
Dr. Umar, Dr.
Yes.
Eric, Michael Eric Dyson.
I agree.
So you said he'll pray off of us, won't give us the information.
Yeah.
Say that again. I want to hear what you
Yeah,
said.
he must
They
do
won't-
something.
So because this
They
is
won't
going
give
this
us-
is going to him.
They
I'm
won't
emailing.
give us the information, but they sell us the information.
Mm.
They just won't give us the game. They sell us the game.
Well, it's okay
yeah.
for
Brother
it's
Polite,
okay.
Brother Polite, snake.
Oh yeah.
Sinetta, snake.
Right.
Yeah.
Brother Polite?
Yeah.
When you
Brother,
coming with this?
When he beat me
Yes.
out my money. What are you talking about?
Yes.
That
He
when me
beat a
and
lot
him
of
used to
people
talk
out
on the
their money.
phone. And me and him
He
used to
beat a
have
lot of
talk and
people out
have
their money.
conversations like me and you talk.
That's big
I
facts.
just ain't no Brother Polite fan from YouTube.
Leland, but you was just a Brother Polite fan 3 months ago.
I never been a brother. Me and Brother Polite.
Hey,
don't
but
even have the same-
everybody who pretty much know he is a snake was a fan. They was
Yeah,
rocking with
what
him
the
until they
fuck?
seen him go take a quick left
You never
turn.
seen me. Me and Brother Polite don't have the same ideology.
I still got the screenshot.
He took one of them.
I told you,
He took
and
one
I
of them
told you
Fast
that-
and Furious
and
left
so-
turns. You know what I'm saying?
Vin Diesel done that. He's Vin Diesel
Doing
done that.
99, just straight left turn.
And me telling Brother Polite to endorse our show.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the least you can do
Right,
since you owe me some money.
right.
Is to endorse our show.
Yeah, but
Almost
why
what
did he
you
owe you
was
some
doing
money
some
though? What
paperwork,
happened?
too.
We got 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes.
He was doing
Why
paperwork.
did he owe you bread?
Because he had some shit that he was doing the credit recovery,
Yeah,
the CMR.
yeah.
And so what he'd do is that he would recover your credit, open up your business credit, line of credit, and then have you with a certain limit of funds on your business line of credit.
Right.
And he lied to
And
you
he
and said it'll be a $200 deposit. And you shot him down.
He couldn't do it. But I knew there was only one way that he could do that I knew, and that is, and the amount of time that he was saying that he
It
could
didn't
do
make
that.
sense.
It did. So you would have to do, because if you, since they've been having them breaches with Experian and all, and Equifax and all them, you can file a police report and say that you got fraud on your account, and they will automatically have to remove whatever you list on your account as fraud. They have to remove it, and so the only way that he could do that was by saying I had fraud on my account and this is why. But he didn't get certain information, which made me think, well, he's not going to do that.
I guess that's the show.
That's it.
This is the Smartest Dumb People. I'm Anthony That Dude Johnson, Leland Vaughn TV. Great episode. Make sure you check us out on YouTube, The Smartest Dumb People 23. Also follow us on Instagram, The Smartest Dumb People 23. Check us out on other platforms. We'll holler at you. Have a good night.
Peace.